All right, so let's begin. Welcome. This is the Compensation Recommendation Committee meeting for Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. It's just 6:06 p.m. All members are present. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Item number 2 is a discussion of and review of compensation scenarios for Board of Selectmen with possible vote recommending compensation for our selectmen and first selectmen women's positions for July 1, 2024, July 1st, 2025, July 1st, 2026, and July 1, 2027. So that's before us. We all have some material that was provided as backup to the agenda, and it came from Jared Smith. If you recall, I sent an email to him based on our last meeting to get certain answers to certain questions, and we have that here in the memo that Mr. Schmidt sent to the members on June 2nd of 2023. Just, one thing I wanted to point out, and I don't have a rational explanation for this, and so 4 years ago, when this same committee, I was a member, and so was Sharon, as well as Pam Iacono and Chris DeWitt. When we sent the recommendation out to the Board of Selectmen in an email dated August 21st, 2019, we indicated in the email that the current salary at that time was $138,082, and that we recommended on July 1st, 2020, a 0% increase in 21% insurance contribution. July 1st, 2021, a 0% increase in 22% insurance contribution. July 1st, 2022, salary 1% increase and a 23% insurance contribution. And July 1st, 2023, salary of 1.5% increase and a 24% insurance contribution. And if you recall at the last meeting, the budget book had a salary of, for this past year, $146,523. So we're having difficulty trying to understand where that came from, because the recommended salary back 4 years ago was $138,082. And so Jared answered the questions, and I went back and looked at all the budget books over the last several years, and the $138,082 salary that we sent out in that email 4 years ago was incorrect. And I know we didn't reduce the salary 4 years ago, so I don't know, Sharon, if you recall what happened there.
But I'm wondering if it's a travel allowance issue.
Well, I think Jared answered the question, right? Or maybe he said that we asked that question, and he said the travel stipend of $6,000 annually is budgeted separately from the first select person's salary.
So it's not in that?
No, it's not in that. So I guess the bottom line is I don't have an answer for you. When I sent the email out to the Board of Selectmen, it was copied to all members, and no one said anything. And I actually went to the Board of Selectmen meeting to see if I looked at the minutes that day when you guys approved it. I think you took this up in like September of that year, because you were on the Board of Selectmen then. And it just says we recommend adopting the recommendation of the committee. So
yeah, that's all we did.
So the bottom line is the salary that we're working with is the $148,721. That's the current. That'll be the salary as of this coming July 1st.
We're sure somebody doesn't know it's money.
Well, but here's the question. So if it was 0 and then 1% and then 1.5%, that brings us up to 141,555, and 148,721 is 5% more than that number.
So according to Jared, fiscal year 21, it stayed at 145,072. That's the 0%. Well, that was the 0. 145,072 for FY21. And then
Wait, tell me one more time.
Okay, so July 1st, 2020, it was at 145,072. July 1st, 21, 145,072, because there was a 0% increase for
Okay,
the first 2 years. And then on,
but that's the disconnect right there, right? Because we thought we were starting out with 138,082, and we started with 145,072,
so,
right? So if we do 145,072 times 1.01, and then the next year times 1.015, 148,720. Yep.
yeah, 148,720.
721, I can't
That's what we're at, so.
Yeah, so I don't understand the disconnect between 138,082.
I have no idea, I don't
And
remember.
145,072.
And I don't know, but that's what they've been paid. This happened prior to the current administration. It was back when Mike Tetra was the first select person. He was the first select person at the time. They adopted our recommendation,
Yeah.
and
Do we have a 7/1/2020 number?
hang on. So 7/1/2020 would be for fiscal year 21, right?
Yeah.
7/1/2020, first selectman salary was, 145,072.
So it was the same.
Same, yeah, it didn't change, they applied the 0.01%, 1.5% correctly. From what I can tell, it's just the 138,082 figure.
This is gonna sound really crazy, but it's not the benefits contribution being included with it also.
No.
Benefits contributions on a different line in the budget.
Right.
For select person's budget.
This is just their salary,
Yeah,
so.
I'm just trying to think of what else it could be.
I mean, unless one year they combine the $6,000 into, I don't know, it just seems, I mean, I think we gotta get a little more information on this, on how that happened, so. Just to make sure that there wasn't a problem.
Because,
Somehow you guys thought it was 138, and, I'm not sure like what it was the year before. Where was the budgeted car stipend then, at that time?
7/1/2019,
So Jim, in 1819, the first selectman's salary was 141,534. So I don't,
135?
141,534. Actually, that was for 18 and 19, there was no increase.
so that means that, that means the 138,032, maybe 138,032 was the number at the beginning of the prior administration.
Like before Mike Tetra, you mean?
No, I mean, like election year, it's set every 4 years. So every,
Well, we have fiscal year 18, it was 141,534, and it stayed the same in 19.
mhm.
And then it went up on FY 20 to 145,072.
But that's not even the percentage that we recommended. That's 2.5%. From 19 to 20 is 2.5%. It's not the 1% that we recommended. Because we recommended 0, 1, 1.5, right?
So for for fiscal year 20, the increase would have been July 1st, 2019. It's 1920 for that year. It's 145,072.
Right.
We didn't recommend anything for that year. Our first increase would have been July 1st, not increase, but our first recommendation was a 0 for July 1, 2020,
Yeah,
which is FY 2021. So it's we always say FY 21.
So that,
And it stayed that way. It stayed at 145,072 for the next 2 years, as we determined, we wanted a 0% increase, and then
It looks to me the difference between 7/1/2019 and 7/1/2020 is a full 2.5%. Because
Yeah.
145,072 over 141,534 is 2.5%. So it looks like the 1% and the 1.5% were put together and immediately applied, and that's not what our recommendation was.
Yeah. So when you guys were making the decision for 4 years, your first year that you were gonna adopt that for was fiscal year 21, is that correct?
yes, July 1st of 2020, the salary 0% increase and a 21% insurance contribution. So the recommendation, Jim, was made on August 19th. We met that summer.
Yeah.
And it would be for the next, July 1st.
So that's right then, right?
Yeah, that is right.
Because if you have it adopted, if you start out with the base year is July 1st, 21, that's your base year.
Right, that
Okay?
is. That's right, that's a 0, so it stayed at 145,072.
Yeah.
The
That
next
number's already
year,
set.
that would, so the question is, and where did we get, Sharon, the 138,082? When at the time, it was set at 145,072. That was the salary in place when we met 4 years ago, and we said, we're just gonna keep it where it is for 2 years, and then give the 1% in July 1st, 2022, and then July 1st, 2023, a 1.5%, which is coming up in about a
Did you
month.
see that number anywhere, the 138?
I didn't see it anywhere. Look back in that.
You didn't
like
see in the
last-
budget book,
No, I didn't. I went back to 1819, right? Look at 18 and 19.
So where did we get,
I don't
Wait.
know. That's my point. I don't know where we got that figure from. I don't know, Ed.
I want to look to see where the $6,000 is budgeted in the budget. Is that under travel?
What did he
I don't know,
say?
like, I don't know if you have the page, I don't think you have the pages there, John, but
No,
I
I
just
don't.
don't know what the,
What is the 138 plus 6,000? Get us to
144,
144,082?
082.
Yeah, so it's not even doesn't get you to 145,072.
No,
So instead of 138,082, it was 141,534.
Say that again?
no, I think what he's saying is, you started off with 145,072, right?
Yeah, that was exactly,
And you see that number in the budget book?
it is, it was in the budget book back then.
And it matches the timing of what?
Yes. The only thing that the confusion I had was when we sent this email out for the recommendations, we said the current salary was 138,082, and it wasn't, based
Yeah.
on the budget book.
Yeah.
It's right, because the year one that's down here, that would be July 1st, 20, July 1st of 2020.
Right.
And now, I'm not sure, when you say up top, John, in your second line of Jared's memo, if you go to the second
Yes.
line, when you say 2020 and 2021, I'm not sure you're talking about calendar years or fiscal years. I presume that must be calendar years.
I was using calendar
Calendar
years
years,
there,
okay.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so then, based on that, it seems like it was correct, but I would like to confirm and see where the $6,000 is.
I'll ask Jim.
You know what I mean?
once more.
Yeah, like what line in the budget that's on for those years?
Okay.
But I will say that after you sent the memo, somebody should have raised that issue.
Exactly. I mean, none of us raised it. Or we never, no one raised an issue.
Is it possible there's a difference between a W-2 number and a budget number?
Not that I know of, but, I mean, because everything's done on a fiscal year here, so we deal with fiscal years, so
Right, but if we asked what the current salary was and somebody just went back and looked at W-2 as opposed to a budget book, that's possible?
I guess it's possible, but the $6,000, I mean, were you saying that's the net of the money? Like that's their net pay in a W-2 after taking out?
No,
taxes?
I'm saying that prior to that, I'm thinking out loud. We're trying to figure out what the difference is between the 138,082 and the 141,534.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, and I guess I don't see how that could be the case. It's a 2.5% difference, exactly.
Wouldn't at the time our committee,
That's too coincidental.
we would have looked at.
But also the fact that it's 2.5% and we recommended a 1 plus a 1.5.
But they're also showing a 1 and a 1.5 here of what we're currently paying.
Yeah, so you do, let me look at this.
We did pay the 1 and the 1.5 in fiscal year '23, commencing on in July '22. And then '23, beginning of July 1st of '23, which hasn't even started.
Yeah, that's all right, the 1% was properly applied, it's 146,522,523, and then this July 1st, there'll be a 1.5.
The amount equals the amount too.
140, so that's
Compounded
okay.
amount, yep.
The only question was the 138 figure, so, and I don't know if Jared had it, I didn't ask him to clarify that because, well, I didn't ask him to, because I just figured.
Just assume it was right.
138,082.
All right, so this is a little weird. The difference between 138,082, which is the number we thought it was, to 141,534. Okay, well, I'm off by $10. 141,554. That difference is 2.5%. Then the difference between 141,534 and 145,072 is 2.5%.
Was your committee the first committee that looked at this, or was there a committee before you?
There was a committee
Oh,
before.
yeah, I think every.
I was on that one.
Do you know what the numbers were for that?
No clue. I can't remember.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I'm sure we can look up in a minute.
So you looked in the budget book?
Yeah, I actually copied the pages going back to FY 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, yes, and it's
So 18 was 141,534.
141,534. So that would probably have been set by you guys, that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so I think the figure is, I'll ask about the stipend, but I do think the figure we're working with as of this July 1st will be 148,721.
Yep.
And so we should talk about that, and, going just through the memo, you'll see, we asked, Jared to give us information about, do other department heads have travel stipends? And the answer was no, other town employees receive travel stipends. However, no other town employees receive travel stipends, excuse me. However, employees are eligible to receive mileage reimbursement for their own vehicles to conduct town work. And it's, you know, the federal reimbursement rate stands at 65. That changes depending on what's going on. And then the other problem too is they haven't been applying the cost sharing that our commission recommended. You'll see Jared say that the first Selectwoman's medical cost share has been tied to department heads and other elected officials in error. That rate currently stands at 18%. We recommended July 1, 2020, 21%, and going up every year by 1 percentage point, so.
Was the, memo, was that voted on by the Board of Selectmen?
Yes, well, when I looked at the minutes, they voted to
We adopted what
approve
they
our
recommended.
recommendation.
Here's my other question, I wonder if the department head increase was 2.5% in those years.
Well, we didn't do it by percentage, we said 21%, not a
No,
percentage.
I'm going back,
I don't know.
I'm switching subjects for a second.
Oh.
Because they used the benefits contribution number that was the same as the department head.
So you're saying
The
that the
salary
next logical
increases-
step was they used it for the salary
The
too?
salary increase, yeah, 2.5, because it was 2.5% twice, that's not what we recommended.
Well, that was before you.
Yeah, that's before us.
Your recommendations were fully implemented.
They were. Your recommendations
Yeah,
are
but-
fine.
But
Based
John-
on the salary that was in place at the time you guys were doing it.
But John, you were saying it was 141,534 and 7118, 141,534, 7119?
All right, 141,534 in fiscal year 18, 141,534 fiscal year 19. And then fiscal year 20, which is, fiscal year 20, we didn't deal with that. That was 145,072.
Yep,
Our first, so that would have went into effect on July 1st, 2019. Our first one was July 1st, 2020, which is technically fiscal year 21, okay?
yep, okay.
Okay, so,
So then the next year was 145,072, fiscal year 22 on 7/1/2021.
yep, and
And
that was
then-
0%, that's correct here,
Okay.
what Jared gave us.
And then 7/1/2022,
Which would be 23, almost a year ago, that was a 1%, and that number's correct, and then the next one coming
Okay.
up is this July 1st.
got it. I was a year off, okay, cool. Thank
So, they haven't been taking, and I don't know what we do about that, we have no, what authority do we have to, they've been, I'm not blaming anybody here, but the first selectman position they haven't been taking out the cost sharing that the commission 4 years ago recommended.
Yes, or that was voted on by
They
the.
voted on, right?
Yeah,
So,
we gotta collect some money. I hope there hasn't been a lot of medical expenses, so the cost share's low.
we refer this to the town attorney, so, I think we were talking last
You
time.
put the interest that they charge the taxpayer for late fees of 18%, could get higher.
So, all right, so that,
So,
so that's where we are, and then you'll see here, he gave us, what the cost sharing is for department heads and currently in unions, you'll see department heads and elected are paying 18%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else do we ask him? Oh, we also asked if an elected individual from the division of first selected does not want to participate in the town medical benefits plan, is that person entitled to any additional money? And they are not, according to Jared's information that he gave us.
good.
And then, Ed, you were correct, I just confirmed it, the average salary increases for settled contracts is 2.56% in fiscal year 24 and 2.63% in FY 25. So that's the information that we have, and, I mean, based on, I'll open it up for discussion, if we're using the soon-to-be 148,721 salary, that the first select person's position in Fairfield is right in line with what other first select persons receive. It's probably a little higher if you look at that, some of that comparison that we got the last time.
Yep,
So,
let me open that.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about that and what the thoughts are about what, if any, increases you want to make to that position. I think, although it seems to me that the trend has been on the cost sharing, believe it or not. We thought it was gonna keep going up, and now it's starting to slide back a little bit, even
Yeah,
because
agree.
we can't keep people, so I don't think we're gonna get away with,
I-
get away with
I
22%
think we
or
should keep
21%.
it at 18.
I think, keeping it 18 is kind of the highest level to begin with, and,
They follow,
and
they
it's
should follow
it's
the
following department heads a
Right.
little bit, so that's at 18, so I think we should go to 18, I guess, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think I'd go higher than that now. You agree?
Yeah.
Sharon?
18.
Yeah.
The trend's going back the other way, believe it or not, so.
Right, and if the medical costs go up,
Yeah,
they can revisit it in 4 years.
yep. Well, what we can say is that the first select person should follow department head and elected officials, and then over the next 4 years, if somehow that's changed to go higher, they should, first select person position should follow that,
So you
right?
don't wanna tie it to a rate, you just wanna tie it to DH?
That's what they do now.
I don't have a problem with that.
Is that okay? Is that
Yeah.
all right?
I personally have no problem with that,
Mhm.
to the department head right now.
Do we wanna say 18%, or we wanna say the same as department head?
We could say it's currently at 18% and then
We
it
want it
should
to
follow
track with
department
department
heads.
heads.
and
I agree
elected
with that.
officials.
That kinda takes some of the,
And they already seem to have it, like a chart for it that says DH and elected,
Right,
'cause that's what they thought it was.
yeah.
I would like to get a memo back saying everyone's put this into place after it's done.
It would be a nice thing, yeah.
Because of past errors.
but also it makes sense to tie it to that and kind of take it off the table in terms of one more administrative layer. 'Cause
Yes.
It's,
I mean, I understand what you guys were thinking about back then, because at that time, you were being
it was
told,
going up.
by Human Resources that they were gonna be trying to get them at low higher.
Right,
You
we,
were
And that
trying
was
to-
right when we were with the teacher's contract, that was
Yes.
when there was a
Right.
big jump at the
Yes.
same time.
yep. That was the trend, it was starting to go up, we wanted the first select person position to kind of be the
Yeah.
leader of it,
Mm-hmm.
so. So I don't know if there's any thoughts about, if we're, this July 1st, you're at 148,721 for the position.
Yep.
The unions are settling between 2.5% and 2.6%. I don't know.
So the
What's your
public,
thought about
the
that?
public sector, like public companies, it's very hot right now.
Right.
I don't have government and nonprofit data,
Mm-hmm.
but we used to see 3% in general industry. And right now, and it flipped up to just about 4%. And it's going to go back down. I
I'm
think.
seeing in public sector where I work, they're still settling around 2.5% to 3%.
Yeah, it's never gonna keep up with,
No.
with,
But conversely, public sector gets their 2.5%, 3% or 2% raises when things are shitty, you know, in the economy.
Yeah.
So it works both ways.
Right.
And you guys, private sector doesn't get anything, so, I mean.
I mean, I don't think that we're terribly aggressive if we set it at 2.5%. At
I don't
least
think so.
for the next 2 years, but I don't know how to project out what the 2 years after that are gonna be.
So, usually they settle for 4 to 5 year contracts. 5 is actually out longer, and so what happens is, the last year municipalities want a lower year because they don't know what's gonna happen. And
Mhm.
a lot of times the unions say, well, we'll just do a 4-year because it's more predictable, and why should I take a low 5th year when, 4 years from now, I'll probably get more than the low 5th year being offered by the municipality, so.
How about 2.5, 2.5, 2.25, and 2.0?
Two 2.5s and 2.2s, or 3 2.5s?
I would
and
say
2.0?
I agree with Sharon, 2.5 next year, 2.5 the year after. But then you're right, because of compound, and then we go to 2.25.
That's good, yep, and then a 2.0, something like that, or keep it at 2.25,
Administratively simple,
2.25.
2.25, 2.25. I mean, or.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that'll wind up, I think at that time, we'll be at around 164, 163.
And
Which I don't object to for, I mean,
I don't either. I'm
No.
with you on that. This is not
the
an
other
easy
thing
job.
is,
Yeah.
even if we looked at, like right now, Norwalk, granted, it's mayor and council, right? But Norwalk right now, and this is even backward looking a little bit, is 166. New London, 160,
Well, Richfield's
right now or out?
right now. And it's, right now,
Mayor of Norwalk's at 166.
yes.
Hmm.
Westport, 150.
Westport?
Yeah, Westport's really hot.
Jared makes more than Brenda right now.
You know what, then, I mean, based on that, I don't have a problem staying at 2.5.
If you looked at the department heads, I think you'd see that they were,
I know, Jim,
I know,
I know.
That's how you have to keep department heads.
I know.
Pay.
I just don't wanna see CBAs throwing this at us,
Well, I know.
Well, I get it.
you know? That,
So
you know,
maybe
we're
we
paying
could go-
executives, you know, hey, that's what
Well, why
they
don't we
got.
just say 2.5, and then we're showing that we're actually gonna go lower. So we're preparing for it. They can't be
2.25.
using.
That's where my head's
Yeah,
at.
Yeah.
But it doesn't match the industry. It doesn't match what you're saying. I'd like to see us on par with
Yeah,
Norwalk or
but,
something.
well,
I mean, Westport's a fraction of the size of us in the budget.
Well,
And they're at
I
160.
think we give them 4 years worth of increase, it's fine. So the department head can't say, I mean, you know, the first select person is getting more. I think it's still, I mean, people shouldn't be taking the job really over money.
You should pay them well.
I think they are.
I
I think,
do.
I don't doubt that they are. Some of the people we've had are taking it for the money, but whatever.
I would like to see us go down in the last 2 years.
Yeah, so then I
2.5,
like the 2.5, stay, go down to
2.2.
2.25.
Want to
Yeah.
do 2 twos at the end, instead of 2 and a quarters?
No, let's stay 2 1/4.
All right,
I don't like to go to 2. I think that's too low.
okay. And listen, if things turn sour in 4 years, you make, the next commission
You go down
makes
to-
an adjustment, right?
Exactly, yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And that, yeah, I mean, and even if we're, I don't know what it's at, I can't do the math in my head, but 163, 164, 4 years out.
I can
I mean,
do it.
right now, that sounds good.
No,
4
let
years
me,
out.
no, let me do it. All right, so right now, it's
I was figuring 148.
So you gotta start from
148,
148, yep, so 2.5, go ahead.
All right, 1 point, I'm not gonna do the little carrot thing right now, I'm under pressure here, I'm on camera. You know what I'm talking about, the whole time value of money. That brings us to 162,562, so 162,6.
Yeah,
I don't think that that's out of line,
no,
because everyone else is gonna be increasing at the same time. So when we refresh the CCM data, we're gonna be looking at,
I agree.
So we're gonna recommend 2.5, 2.5, 2 1/4, 2 1/4.
yep,
And
18% benefit.
18%.
18%
Cost
following DH.
H, next
following DH, yeah.
department heads and
Mhm.
the elected officials, that's what they do. And then we're gonna keep the board of selectmen where they are, 12,000, its, salary is $12,000 a year. 4 years ago, they eliminated the 125-month travel stipend, I don't think we wanna give that back, right?
That's per month, right?
Per month, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
yes, and, I think we even agreed, or tentatively agreed at the last meeting, we're just gonna leave that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
And I think that's really it.
and we're good with the $6,000.
The 6,000 travel.
That stays, right? Yeah.
Are we happy with that?
I don't know.
I mean, the 6,000, I mean, I'm just saying automobile costs have gone up.
I think
We're-
it's always been for a long time, $500 per month, so that's how they got to the 6,000.
I know, but-
It's been that much, but, you know, if I take that, 6,000 and divide it by the current federal reimbursement per mile, you'd have to drive 9,160 miles
A year?
a year to get to that,
I mean,
using your own car.
I do a lot of miles. I mean, I put 18,000 a year on my vehicle.
Yeah,
So,
But I'm just not sure, like.
9,000?
For business purposes, whether.
well.
It's cheaper for us is to pay the mileage or give the position a stipend.
I'd rather give a stipend only
yeah,
because
it's easier.
you don't have to do the
Easier accounting.
administrative stuff every day.
Is that taxable?
I'm driving over to the Board of
Is
Ed.
that taxable then for the position?
I don't know whether that's taxable.
Taxable.
That's a good question. I don't know, but, I mean, you know.
Sure sounds like compensation to me.
Yeah, but I think they probably,
But it's not a car allowance,
yeah,
it's considered a reimbursed expense.
yeah.
It's, exactly, maybe.
So if it were a car allowance, then I think it would be imputed income, but
Yeah.
I'm not an accountant.
You know, the way I look at the vehicle is, years ago, Sullivan had a car.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Right, but the thing is in lieu of that, they would give me allowance. So the way I look at it is, either I'm paying for the car, or the town gives me one. And, I mean, nowadays, insurance, the acquisition cost, and the gas alone, I mean, I'm at $1,000, $1,200 a month. So that's the way I look at it, that's the vehicle cost, so $6,000 to me sounds cheap.
Yeah.
Or,
I agree, I mean.
or just go out and get a Ford.
To some degree, say
whatever.
someone just leases their car, right? You would not only you would, I guess, potentially go over on your mileage, which is like 30 cents now per mile, for the extra mileage, if you were driving a car. I'm just not sure what the average person drives every day.
I don't know, I always thought it was in lieu of giving them a town car, we give them the allowance. And I just don't see $6,000 a year as, that doesn't fund a car.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would like to see that go up, just for the simple fact that if we're not giving them a car, they're saving us money.
Yeah.
If they're entitled to it, I just always thought they were.
But how much travel is there outside of town line? Like, I know you have to go to Hartford.
I consider it commuting costs too, because they would use the town car to go back and forth to work. So, I mean,
But that's not gonna be more than 3 miles, 4 miles. The most
Right.
would be each way.
right?
Unless you live where Ed lives, that's probably 7, right, each way.
I don't know,
But what are
they're doing us a favor by not taking a town car.
But it's and
That's the way I look at it.
Hartford. Yeah,
There'd be some people would say, I hope that they were driving the new, whatever we get,
Electric.
Teslas.
Yeah.
We're gonna get those electric cars,
Yeah,
maybe
but
we'll
yeah.
drive them.
I'm just saying, I was at the intersection,
And park them and charge
I
them
saw
all day
McCarthy
while
go by with the brand-new red Ford.
they're-
I'm like, man, it must be nice. You know?
Mhm.
But over, like, in industry, the whole car allowance thing, that was
They got the past.
thing in the past.
Yeah, it's a perk. It wasn't. But, I don't know what the amount.
I'll float it. I'd like to see us go to 9,000 a year on the car allowance.
9,000?
I think that's too much.
Oh, I can't go more than 6. I was thinking about going down.
Oh.
I was thinking about going down to like 5 or 4, we're asking Brenda, how many miles do you think you put on your car for business and getting a second?
But I don't look at it, I look at it as like the insurance costs and everything.
Well, so does the government.
Yeah, but that's-
When they pay 65.5 cents a mile, that's
If you're,
current gas prices, insurance, wear and tear on your car, like oil changes, whatever.
commuting shouldn't be really included in the calculation.
It should be when
It's not commuting.
I come to work, and during the workday, I have to drive somewhere for
Right.
work. That's
Yeah.
what it's-
Or the Saturday, you
Or
know.
Saturday.
What do we do if she says she wants
No,
a
I
car?
agree, Brenda's like on a Saturday and Sunday or night meetings, she's driving around, yeah, that.
But what do we do if she turns
Give her
around
one
and
of
says,
the
I want a car?
I want
Is she
a car.
entitled to it?
No, we're determining
this
whether
is-
she gets it, it used to be either or, they took that
Right.
away.
She could, I guess, say,
So what if she turns around?
Get Plato, do both.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the job entails. Is there, I mean, what if she turns around and says, nah, I don't want this 6,000, get me a car? Is that it?
I don't
No.
think she can do that.
No.
No,
No, this
she
is
gets
it.
the $6,000.
That's it.
Okay.
And I guess what,
I mean, I would think she'd be hard pressed to show that she drives 9,600 miles
Yeah, I
a year.
think that 6,000 is more than fair.
Yeah.
Because you really shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't be including commuting costs.
right,
It's really only anything
I mean,
over and above your commuting.
I agree. I mean, I think she'd be hard pressed to show us that she drove 9,600 miles.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, I think if you go to Washington DC.
You're right, everything is in town, you're right.
Yeah. So
And
it's not
that's,
like-
yeah,
But
you're
it's
right.
not, I mean, maybe she goes up to Hartford 10 times a year.
Yeah.
The long-
No, but you're right, my world is outside.
You're different.
Right,
I
you're
know,
driving all
I
over
know,
the place.
okay.
You're
I got it.
different.
You're right.
We're gonna, so keep it at 6,000 stuff.
I guess we just keep it the way.
Well, yeah, we're stuck at the intersection of
traditional.
Rose Road and
It's been-
Black Rock
it's
Turnpike.
been
Yeah, no,
traditional.
You're right,
I get it, I get it.
I think 6,000 is more than fair.
Yes.
We didn't
Yeah, I was
even
thinking about
talk
going to 5, but no.
I could be talked into that, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's $500 a month, really.
but
That's
given
what it
that we
always
also
was.
had
Okay.
no increases in those rough years and
Yes,
pandemic and everything else.
yeah, and I mean,
I'm willing to leave it.
to be honest with you, whatever previous people were getting for $500 a month, which was $6,000, this doesn't go as far as this now with the gas prices at $4. You know,
Well-
it's not going
Well,
far.
and chip shortages and how much a car costs, so
Yeah,
it is a reduction by leaving it.
yeah. So, I'm fine with leaving this thing.
Okay.
So, let me ask the group a question. Do we need to meet next week? Are you ready to vote on?
I don't think so. It seems like we arrived at a consensus. If we go with this, you write the memo and send it on our behalf.
Yeah, I need to catch up on the minutes, because we were discussing and I'm.
The only problem,
ready to
yeah,
go.
I mean, I can understand if like, oh, we're trying to get you electric cars, so we wanna give her one of the new electric cars, and that's what she's gonna drive. She can use to work, that's her deal, and then she starts using her electric car. But that's gonna be $40,000 a purchase. Like, that'd be another car. I'd rather not fund that.
Right.
Okay.
But my minutes are going to be a little basic. Okay, car allowance. Keep it 6,000.
Anybody have any thoughts on, reducing the board of, the select person, not the first select person, but the regular select person's salary? Yeah. I mean, it's $1,000 a month, I mean, I think that's what it really is. I mean, that's what it is.
I mean, you both served on the board of
Yeah.
selectmen, don't you think you do?
I think when I was there, it was 10, they've raised.
I would leave it, but.
Just leave it.
I think I was in tens, something.
Yeah.
How many hours a month, including
Put a
research?
lot in.
I mean, I didn't felt like I was getting ripped off, I felt,
2 meetings a month, and it's covering ribbon cuttings and brownie
yeah, I,
boards
You gotta do stuff like that.
on weekends, yeah.
Yeah.
You might have to go to 2 or 3 things a weekend.
Mike didn't ask me, we weren't getting along. So, I didn't get asked to do much,
No.
no.
But you have to sit on the, one of the select,
WPCA,
WPCA, that's
Yeah,
a
that was
crappy
bad.
job.
that was a bear, that was a tough one.
Especially now.
The only reason I would contemplate cutting the selectmen, to give more money to this office to bring staff in.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would do it, because I agree, somebody said at this table that the workload in there is, adding that person took the, stress off the selectmen.
Okay.
The CAO.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was me.
Wait,
I don't know if it took the stress off, but it certainly is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no issue with that. I don't. I think, that's why, diverging here on the charter revision thing, I wanted that position to be a charter
yeah, I
position.
agree, John, yeah.
So,
But, okay, I'm fine with leaving the select.
I
Salary is the same.
I don't know, is there anyone up there? So, I think we should vote on this, though, and then what I'll do is, I'll do a memo, a draft, and send it, can I do it, send it to, I'm not violating the point.
So we're gonna have a final vote right now on everything?
a recommendation for John to write something up.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll do a draft and take a look at it.
Okay.
So, let's see if I can tie this all in one vote if you want to. For the first select person position, the recommendation is the following. A 2.5% increase for July 1st, 2024. A 2.5% increase for July 1st, 2025. A 2.25% increase for July 1st, 2026. A 2.25% increase for July 1st, 2027. And those increases are based on, what will be, this July 1st, 2023, a salary of $148,721.
That's the base.
That's the
Yep.
base. Okay. We also recommend that with respect to insurance cost sharing, that the first select person's position follows the department heads and elected officials, and currently that is at 18%, but our recommendation is that the first select person position should be following department heads and elected officials
In the 4 years.
in the 4 years.
Yes.
We also are recommending that the stipend of $6,000 for travel expenses remains the same
For all 4 years.
for all 4 years,
Mhm.
and that the current salary of $12,000 for the select person positions remains at $12,000 for the next 4 years.
Do we know it's 12,000?
Yes, I looked in the budget book,
Mhm.
yes. So I think that's it, right? So I entertain a motion. I made the motion. Second, all in favor? Aye. Anything else?
No.
Okay, I'll send this email out tomorrow and
Sounds great.
copy you guys. If I send something out, when I send it out and copy you, if you see something wrong,
No, I'll look at it.
let us know, right?
Yeah, I'll look
Let
at
me
it.
know right away. I'm gonna send it out to, the Board of Selectmen,
Yes,
okay? That's what we have to do.
excellent.
Thank you, everyone.
This is
Anything
efficient.
else?
No. Perfect.
No?
All right, entertain a
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn?
Mr.
Second.
Walsh, second by Mr. Bateson, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
That was easy.
That was